All right, so again, welcome to this course, and this course is about Python and machine learning algorithms. So somehow it will focus on the language itself, and also it will tell you some of the algorithm. This includes two parts. One part is the theory behind the algorithm, so that you can know what's going on for this algorithm, and in the future, if you have some of the like a subtle change of the algorithm, you want to change the purpose of the algorithm a little bit, you are able to do so. So that's the first part, and the second part is at least you know how to use that. Right? So I would say this is the first priority, and then if you are able, try to learn a little bit about the theory or more about the theory, then it will help you in the long run. So different people will have a different level of the understanding, but somehow I will let you know this course is not too hard to pass that. Okay. So yeah, that's actually the next topic. The course will be evaluated by the following way. There will be a 60% of the group homework, and then there will be two exams. The first exam is about the linear algebra, and the second exam is about the machine learning. And of course, these two parts requires your hard work, and it does depends on your background, okay? And but somehow it comes from the exercises of the handout. So you can see some examples or see the schedule on the course website. To see, okay, this is the time that we are going to have an exam. And the majority of the, a significant proportion of the score comes from here, which is the group homework, and it is divided by 3 times of the 20%, which means each of you will do 3 rounds of the homework, just 3 rounds, okay? And so each round contains, okay, so each round contains 3 steps. Before the class, and inside the class, and after the class. Okay? So before the class, you have to, if you are assigned to the 3rd week, then before the 3rd week, you have to visit me to my office. But at that time, you don't have to prepare anything. Just come to me, I will introduce some notion to you, and so that in the class, you can help and serve as a TA to help more people just on that particular topic. Okay? So the first 2 parts is just come to me and then inside the class and be the TA. And after that, you know, you have seen that each handout has some exercises. So for example, later on, the first one has about 7 exercises, and your group have to finish all the exercises, and so do homework, and then after that, visit me again. So we will do some review and check your homework and make sure you understand the materials, and also provide you some comments. And the purpose of this structure is because each group is only about 4 to say 6 people. And inside this kind of structure, we have more conversation inside the group. And I can provide you more comments at least 3 times each for each person. Otherwise, if every one of you give me a homework, it will be a bit hard to talk to each of you. Okay, so I want the understanding it is more firmly instead of a lot of homework, but it becomes a routine that you don't want to do that. Okay, so basically you will do all of these 3 rounds. And later on, I will show you your assignment. Your name will appear on the assignment 3 times, and for those period of time, you have to do this. And basically, I will give you the full credits for each homework. Okay, so each of the 20, you will get 4 credits, unless you missed the homework, you didn't do that, or you just did not show up. Okay, the purpose of this part is try to get your understanding and also try to have more conversation. Make sure you understand that. So that is to say, once you finish this part, if you are an undergraduate student, then you are almost sure, well, yeah, it is surely that you will pass the course. But if you are a graduate student, you need extra 10% from here. Because for graduate student, you need 70%. Okay, so I hope this provides a friendly environment for everyone, and I also hope that you learn something from this course. That's the main purpose, not just about the score. Okay, and because it is just the first week, I don't want to bother you with a lot of details. So again, try to see the schedule and see the homework quiz session. On the course website. Okay, and you will see more details from there. Okay. I know I keep looking at here, and I did not ask for any question. So up to now, do you have any question about this course, or is there any concern you want to discuss? By the way, I have to use English because that's the course structure. But if you are a Chinese, well, if you are a student in Taiwan, you want to ask question, it's really up to you. But at least in the class, it is a more like English environment, open to more people. But if you feel like English is not your first language, you can try to use the language that I understand. Okay, this is a typical classroom in Taiwan. So anyway, later on there will be a time for discussion. Feel free to talk to me, and this happens in every class. In every hour, I will give you some discussion time, so feel free to talk to me at that time. Now we are going to move on to the class. So this is what we are going to cover for this class, and you can decide whether you want to take this course or to see if this course meets your purpose or not. Okay, so the biggest thing here is the machine learning, right? That's the goal. Okay, but somehow machine learning is a huge topic. It contains something like a natural language and also analyzing the social network and also the artificial network and lots of things. But somehow we will cover at least the 4 major types of the machine learning algorithms. The first one, I call that as dimensionality reduction. And this one is simple. Say you have a picture, and this picture has a lot of like a picture of the whiteboard, or just imagine that you have a picture of this one. This picture has a lot of pixels, but most of the pixels are useless, like a black, 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 but just somehow this one is the important things. So when you have a vector or information which has a large dimension, you want to reduce the dimension to a smaller one. You only want to extract the important information. So that's the first part of the first category of the machine learning. And the other is called clustering. If you have some pictures, if you have some data, say these data are the data points for photos of dogs. And there are some other pictures. There are photos of cats. And somehow you want to partition them into two parts, right? And you can say, okay, this part is more like dog's pictures, and these are the cat's pictures. So if the answer is given to you, it tells you that, okay, there are some data. I know they are the dogs, and I know they are the cats, and I'm going to train some model so that in the future I know these points, it's more inclined to the cats. And that case, we call that as the classification. But somehow, in some cases, you only got some photos, and then you don't know what are they. You don't know how many categories are they. And you don't know whether they are dogs or cats. Maybe there are some wolf or elephants inside. You just want to kind of partition the points into several groups, and that part is called clustering. So the difference between clustering and classification is that one, the answer is given. The other one, the answer is not given. So for this one, it has no answer. And sorry, this means without, in case that you haven't seen that before. And the part below means with answer. And there is the last category, you may be familiar with that, is called regression. Like a linear regression, that kind of things. And it helps you to predict a particular answer. And you say, given X, what is the predict Y? Okay. So you will see that these four categories also partitioned into the other way. On the right-hand side, it is discrete answer, which means the answer is dog or cat or category 1, category 2, category 3. They are discrete. And somehow on the left-hand side, it is continuous answer. So you are using the regression to predict the price of a house. The house price can be $1 million, $1.5 million, or that kind of thing. It is not discrete. So that's what we are going to cover. We will provide 2 algorithms from each of the categories. So in the end, you will learn at least 8 categories. And somehow one of the popular things in recent days is the neural network. And just unfortunately, it is not covered in these 4 types. I will provide some of the information of the neural network at the end of the course. So basically, we will have 8 algorithms here and also 1 neural network, which is in the end of the course. And you can see if this is if this meets your purpose. Okay. And before that, there are something we need to do to support these theories. At least one of the things is linear algebra. And the other part is calculus. And somehow, this course, we are not going to cover too much on calculus. It basically requires you to do some derivative. and the gradient. But whenever we encounter these properties, I will tell you how to use the computer to just find the answer. And because of the difference of the background, basically you can still go through the material even without this part. Okay? But somehow for this course, I want to emphasize the importance of the linear algebra, and but somehow only limited to the following ideas. I want you to know the vectors and metrics and some space. So basically some geometry. We are familiar with our three-dimensional geometry, but somehow in the data space, the geometry can be live in the higher dimension. For example, if this picture is say 300 and 400, and then it has 120,000 pixels, and then you can treat that as a vector inside the vector space with 120,000 dimension. So somehow you have to be familiar with the geometry in the higher dimension. And there are some other topics that is about eigenvalue, eigenvector, and something called singular value decomposition. And these are advanced topic. Well, it depends on your background, but these are applying to more like to this part. Okay, for this part you need these advanced techniques, but for other things, the basic geometry will be enough. But don't worry too much about this. The course will cover this part, but somehow it might be fast for you if you are the first time touching linear algebra, but we will cover that and the video will be recorded. Okay, so yeah, like what I say, it will be uploaded to the Cyber University, and also if you want to take the note and I move the pages too fast, feel free to let me know. Okay. So the schedule will cover 4 weeks of linear algebra. And then there will be a linear algebra exam. I'm sorry, this is 5 weeks, including this one. And then we are going to move to the machine learning algorithm, and it covers about 8 weeks. Yeah, and each week we will cover one of the algorithm, and then there will be an exam. Okay, and you will notice that the sum of this is not 18, but it's just because the school take out the last week, and also there will be 1 week which is I forgot, just we don't have the class for a certain week, and somehow it covered. That's the schedule for this one. And oh, by the way, there is the last things I will talk about the neural network after the exam. So the neural network is not going to be part of the exam, but I somehow want to introduce that to you because it is popular in recent days. So the tips for this course, it actually applies to all kinds of learning. It's like, well, I would say because the background is different. So just think about that every time is a new start. Okay, every class is a new start. So don't give up at any point that you feel like frustrated. Just treat that like today I'm going to learn something new, and maybe this part is not related to the earlier materials. Maybe you can do very well on this part. And in general, try to reflect try to analyze what you don't understand. And then try to encounter that. Spot the place that you don't understand. Instead of spending too much time, it's okay to be frustrated, but don't spend too much time. Feel frustrated. Okay. It applies to most of the cases, but just let you know that's the general idea. Okay, so that's the course structure. I know I spent too much time on this, and it can be boring at the very beginning, but I want this to be an agreement. And is there any question up to this point? Okay, so I will briefly introduce the basic idea of Python and let you do some exercises or practice for the last few minutes, and later on we will have a break.